Alright then, we're gonna test out this silver I bought the other day. One commenter said, he pointed out something I ain't even noticed. He said that in there ain't got a period on it. See, it just said 999. And he said this here one had that .999. So he said you might want to check that. I appreciate it. I did look into it. Old Dub C, he's a good feller. If you ain't seen his videos, you ought to check him out. He's a lot smarter than I am, especially about, well, probably about much everything, but he's kind of expert, or to me he is, on that vintage bars. And I learned from him you can check that allengelhard.com. They got a lot of information on these here Engelhard bars, but they also got a lot of information on a bunch of bars. They ain't got this one on it. But that Johnson Matthey or a bunch of your, what they said, vintage bars. I say old stuff, but they call it vintage. Sounds nicer. You can spend more money if you call it vintage. Anyway, so I did check her out, and it's a genuine bar. At least it printed up there. That's the way it looked on the website. So that's all right to say that 999 plus. I guess that kind of saying it's a little better than 999, 39 fine. Not quite guaranteeing 49, but a little better than 39. So we're going to test them out, though, anyhow. Because if y'all seen what I said, seen some of the other videos, I like old Ronald Reagan saying, he said, trust but verify. So we're going to verify them up. And I already had this in here. It's at Noah's Ark, Armenian 1 ounce coin. I got it. I just figured I'd show you what it come up with here. You see it read right there in the green. Now, one thing about this little Pro Mini, that Sigma Pro Mini, it's only got a few settings for silver. I'll show you it right here. Well, we got to flip her around. So you can punch in metal. We get a little closer so you see it. You choose your silver, right? Then notice the settings. So you see it only had pure, and then 92.5 sterling, 90% pre-1945 or pre-1900, 1900 to 1945. Then that Britannia, 96%. I didn't even know there's a difference. But anyway, on your pure silver, what I heard is it's just testing up for 49s fine. So even like your Silver Eagles, they said it'll run a little bit in the yeller, because that Silver Eagle is like a 3.9 fine. So just something to keep in mind. Even if it shows up in the yeller, it might be all right if it's 3.9 fine. So we're gonna put this in here on it. And the other thing about, they said the Sigma, like high relief stuff, or sometime it had an issue with some of that. So keep that in mind. So I'm gonna put her here, press her down. See, she just a little bit in the yeller, but like I said, that's probably that 3.9's fine plus. It ain't quite 4.9. So just a little bit off on the purity from what it won't. But y'all can tell me if anybody's expert with the Sigma, but I think that's all right. We move her around a little bit. I'll put it right on that eagle, that high relief point. And I think you'll see maybe it's still all right. we move her around a little bit and see how it looks, because it's supposed to read through the bar, but I guess you could have maybe ones that's filled, so it'd be good. I know that I tried this earlier. You see all that lettering? I think that's gonna mess with it. Let's see. It's still pretty good in the yeller. So I'm confident in that, and even though it just said 999 plus and ain't got the period, that's a 39 fine. Isn't here 0.999, so ought to be the same. Let's see. Alright, see, that one went further in the yeller, actually. But might be I'm up too far over. You're supposed to cover that whole sensor there. Let's get her centered up. Alright, that looks a lot better. That's right there between the yeller and the green. I like to say between the mustard and the pickled. Just stay out of the ketchup, you all right. Now, I did check this out a little bit, do a little bit of preparation, right? And here's a hand-poured bar. That's kind of neat. He topped my order off with that, and he needed to make up a few dollars, so he put this ounce there. I told him, just give me what you want. And he said, that's a neat one. I have to agree that can't really find a lot of info on it. Seemed like it's a hand poured, might be vintage, I don't know. So let's change her up here a little bit. Go to weight, but change it to 1 ounce. Of course, y'all probably noticed one thing I didn't do is check the size. I ought to, but we're gonna check this out first, just kind of do our basic check. Something I come up with a little odd on here. Let's see. Okay, see, that a lot further in that yeller one. Of course, it's still out of the ketchup, but put her that way. Now we almost stoplight right there. Flip her over. Now she went in the red and come back. But I think part of the problem here is the size. It's little. Plus, look at how it ain't all flat. Since it's poured, got a few little divots. So what you want to do sometime, what I heard anyways, is why they got this little wand thing for little small stuff. You just hook this baby up back here. Hook her up, kind of like people nowadays may not know it, but like an old audio cable. Nowadays, them getting out of style. That iPhone ain't even got a place to plug her in. Anyway, use your wand. You can put her right on there. Looky there. She's more in the green there. You get good contact. Now that's a surface contact. This here machine, when you put her on the sensor, it reads through and through. So it's a limitation, but you can check her out around, a few places, and that'll read. I guess it read a little bit into the bar, what I understand anyhow. But that's another way you can kind of check it out for something small. See, I'm right on the edge, so I think that's why it gets over there in the yeller, but especially on this back side, you can get it flat. Not nice in the green. Let's try something out here. I'm gonna turn it up. You may not see the whole thing, but what I'm going for here is thickness. That's a nice part. I put it's 1 ounce, and you can see the diameter, thickness. So we tell it we want to see the dimensions. Where are we? We got to tell it it's a rectangle, not a circle, right? Let's see if you can, I'll get her down here where you can see. Made me a little rectangle there. Oh, she's popping up. We can put her in there. Of course, you got to adjust it. Gotta make it right here. All right, that looked pretty good. You can't really see it, but it's supposed to fit in them lines and be on that green line there. So that's another thing you want to do to make sure it's right dimensions, right? Because if it ain't, it could be some other material that just kind of little copper. You can kind of fake stuff. You could fake the resistivity of the silver. Ooh, gonna break everything. But you can fake it, they said, with copper and a combination, a little copper and silver. But if you did that, it'd be the wrong size. So that's another check you probably want to do. We can do it with this in here too, but we got to change the weight up. And that's a 10 ouncer precious metal weight. And this, all we really looking to do is get the thickness, measure it kind of like a caliper, right? And then we ask it to do the dimensions. Now, since a bar could be of multiple different sizes, right? See this, and it reads right partly. Well, it's kind of too short and too fat. So we got to change it up, get it in there where our bar fits in the lines in the width. And I think that's pretty close. And then we make sure it's in the lines on the height. And it fits right in the lines right there. So we know it's good in weight. We know it's good in dimension. And we know it's good in the resistivity. So that kind of shows how we'd test it up. There's a few other things I reckon you can do. We probably ought to weigh her up because we didn't weigh it. But we said it's 10 ounces and it come up right thickness and the right reading on this here thing, the Sigma. So along with that, we looked up online and it's got the right readings. Of course, you can also read, it even tells you how many lines. It ought to have like 9 of these complete, something. We'd have to look online, but you can kind of do your check that way. Other thing, I bought this at the coin shop. I've been dealing with that fella a good little bit, so I believe him. He ain't trying to out there sell fake silver. He'd make a few dollars and lose my business completely. So that's another incentive for him to stay honest. But like I said, trust but verify. So we verified her. And I appreciate, sorry I don't remember the name on the comment, but he commented on the video I did about picking this here stuff up. And he just mentioned that little question about why this in here didn't have a period, and that in there did, said I ought to check it. So I want to give a shout out to him. I appreciate him or her, I don't know, might be a old gal. There's a few of them watch, but mostly it's fellers. So I want to say thank you to looking out for me. I'm new at this stuff and I can miss something. So appreciate y'all looking out, and it's a good opportunity. Made me think, I didn't even put that on the Sigma. So I figured I need to put it on the Sigma, so I just show y'all the process. And so that's it. Verify our silver up. It's kind of off topic, but y'all buy any silver while it dipped down? I was looking today, it dipped down pretty good, a little bit more, but then it started going back up. But it's still a little bit, it's down from what it was, down in the 30s. That's about what it was when I bought this here. It got down like 28. I wish I'd have put an order in almost, but maybe if it stays in that range, I'm gonna pick something up Tuesday, maybe. We'll see. So what, y'all get a chance, you buy any, or maybe you figured, well, it's gonna fall more, so you sold some. Personally, I kind of already thinking about buying a little silver, being the gold is so high up. I figured, well, maybe silver would go up, catch up with it. Some of them said it would, it's pretty. Like to have a little silver. I got a little bit back in another place, but I won't have a little bit on hand. So picked this up, and like I said, I've been watching old Dub C, and he got me liking this here vintage, older stuff. It's kind of older like me, and I figured, well, us old feller got to stick together, so I just get a little old silver, go with the silver in my hair. Anyway, y'all buy any silver dip, and you get the silver lemon squeeze. I don't know. Either way, you got your silver. Way I look at it, if you got it, you ain't lost anything unless you sold it, because that 10 ounce is still 10 ounce, and that 1 ounce still 1 ounce. If you calculate her an ounce, you got the same amount of ounces, right? You just trade off a little money for a few ounces of silver, maybe few, maybe 100, maybe how much you can afford. Maybe an ounce of gold. So, like I said, you ain't really lost anything. You got your ounces, and I believe in the future it'd be all right. So, anyway, that's a little video. Y'all leave in the comment what y'all think. What y'all think where silver is gonna go or gold gonna go. Leave whatever you think. And also, if you got any info on this, I really want more info on this here thing. This little Nevada. Some of them said that Prospector's gold. Some of them said it's this one or that one. I ain't real sure, because I ain't found exactly like it. I found a 3 ounce or 2 ounce. It being sold on eBay or on that Ampex or however you said it. But I ain't found one just like that. And even the site I seen, it just said it's a hand-poured vintage bar. I don't know who made it or where they made it. I'm guessing Nevada. That's what it said, right? But I kind of like it. It's a cute little thing. I mean, you got something like that, a coin. There's a little bar, kind of like a little stick of chewing gum. That's kind of like one of them Dentyne. My daddy used to chew that Dentyne, you know. He said, boy, that's too hot for you. But I liked it anyway. He didn't know. I said, give me some of that. That or that Big Red. Anyway, that's a little video. I appreciate y'all time. All right then. Bye-bye.